Ms. Jayalalithaa, apart from the Sivaganga Assembly constituency, I'm just looking at it from the larger political ramifications point of view. Leave this issue aside. Politically, or in terms of personal interaction, or in terms of working together, is there any issue that you have with Mr. Chidambaram? Is there a difference in styles or approach or personalities somewhere?
I don't think there's anything like that. I'm just stating a fact.
Absolutely. Ms. Jayalalithaa, I want you to come back to the point which you said right at the very start. You said it's not an open offer of support that is there to the Congress party. And recently, I think it was at that news conference, when you were asked, you said much water has flown under the bridge. Can you please elaborate? How has the situation changed? The fight against corruption is still on. There are still individuals with certain dubious backgrounds who are holding office, high office. For example, there are charges against Mr. Dayanidhi Maran as well. And the DMK continues to be a partner. It's just your offer of support, which is the X factor really, which is the factor which has changed.
That's not the way I look at it. If you ask me how the situation has changed, I would say that in November 2010, there was a doubt as to whether the Congress-headed coalition government was hesitating to take action against a DMK minister because they were afraid that the DMK might withdraw support to the coalition government at the center, and because they were apprehensive that the government could fall. It was in that context, in that belief, that I made my offer of support. But after that, much water has flown down the Kaveri, much water has flown down the Ganga and the Yamuna, and now the Congress has made it explicitly clear that even after the arrest of Mr. Raja, after his resignation, and even after the arrest of Ms. Kanimuri, they have made it clear that the alliance with the DMK continues, that they wish to continue with the DMK as their partner, and that the DMK is still very much a part of the coalition government at the center. So now, as far as I am concerned, as far as the All India Anna DMK is concerned, there is no imminent threat of withdrawal of support to the center. The center is quite confident that it can continue with DMK support. So why should we make any other offer of support now when it's not been sought for? As I
Perhaps
said,
your answers are right in the context of a weakened DMK.
As I said very briefly in Delhi,
yes,
if someone wants my party's support, they have to ask for it. No one has asked for it. So why should I just offer support when no one has asked for it?
I think, Ms. Jayalalithaa, with all respect, you're underplaying your importance at the national level. The fact is that in 1998-99, if I'm not mistaken, you had 18 members of parliament and you controlled the seat of power. You brought down the government. And if electoral trends are to go by, then you would be an even more important player in 2014. And hence, Ms. Jayalalithaa, I think it's natural and obvious to ask, which way will Ms. Jayalalithaa and the AIDMK go? Because you are one of the strongest players in Tamil Nadu and obviously will have a role in the center. Let me put it to you simply. Do you see yourself working with the Congress party again, sometime in the future?
It's difficult to answer that now, because anything can happen in politics. Anything can happen in politics. So, you cannot say that I will traverse this path or go on that path. You can't predict all that in the future. You have to take events as they come and deal with situations as they arise. You have to be flexible.
Sure. And there was animosity in about 10 years back. How is
animosity between whom?
Animosity generally. I mean, you had strong views about the Congress party, about its leadership 10 years back.
That comes and goes. Strong feelings come and go. When you gain experience and maturity, you learn to deal with all that and take it lightly. If you kept on dwelling on what happened in the past, you cannot progress politically.
Clearly, you've moved on, Ms. Jayalalithaa, but has the Congress and has 10 Janpath moved on?
That's for you to gauge and for you to assess and you to find out. As far as we are concerned, as far as I am concerned, in politics, equations keep shifting, changing. situations keep changing. You never can predict what will happen tomorrow. This is one field where anything can happen at any time, and in order to be a successful leader and a successful politician, you have to seize opportunities when they arise. You have to be capable of flexibility to deal with situations as and when the need arises, and you always have to think of what is best for your party and what is best for the people who have placed their faith in you. Whether it's the people of the state or the people of the nation, you have to do justice. You have to do justice to the people.
Everybody's talking about Rahul Gandhi as the next Prime Minister. And I know, Ms. Jayalalithaa, that I don't know, you had strong views on dynastic politics. You hit out at the DMK over it, I think, in the past. How will you be able to work with the party again? And I hope you don't dismiss this as a hypothetical question. But can you do business with the Congress party again, given the dynastic strain which exists?
I don't want to use a cliched term, but then I just told you that we have to be capable of dealing with any situation as and when it arises. Such a situation hasn't arisen yet.
Okay.
When it does, I will deal with it.
Ms. Jayalalithaa, everyone is very keen to know what you've been talking to the top BJP leaders about. And there has been a great deal of attention on your meeting with Sushma Swaraj, on the fact that Narendra Modi came and was here at your swearing in. It was a very important gesture. Ideologically, surely you have no issues with the BJP in terms of working together with them.
Earlier, when Mr. Narendra Modi was sworn in as the Chief Minister for the second time, I attended his swearing-in ceremony in Ahmedabad. I think that was in 2002. So, Mr. Narendra Modi returned the compliment now when I was sworn in recently, last month. And when you refer to Mrs. Sushma Swaraj, you are omitting Mrs. Sheila Dikshit. Both Mrs. Sheila Dikshit and Mrs. Sushma Swaraj are very charming, gracious ladies. Both are my good friends. And both paid courtesy calls and specially called on me to congratulate me on my victory in the recent assembly elections. And Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad is a very good friend of mine. He has also appeared for me as a lawyer in some cases, so we know each other quite well. So we call on each other whenever it's possible.
Again, you're underplaying. You're underplaying it marvelously, but let me ask you again, and now let me put it to you more directly. The fact is, and I'm sure you've seen the popular debate and discussion, people say Narendra Modi could be a prime ministerial candidate for the BJP. Sushma Swaraj could be a prime ministerial candidate for the BJP. So there's a slight difference between Sheila Dikshit and the two other leaders who you mentioned. Therefore, the general feeling is that everyone in the BJP, and especially those who would be aspirants for the top job, would believe they cannot get there without Jayalalitha's support, willy-nilly, given her present political profile in Tamil Nadu. Therefore, I would like to ask you again here, do you feel that that is not an obvious inference for us to draw about your meetings with the BJP?
I have friends in all parties. My friends are spread all over the political spectrum. So, I have good friends in the BJP, I have good friends in the Congress too. And I have friends in other political parties also. They call on me as friends, they are friendly visits. And if you choose to read more into these visits, then I'm not responsible for that.
The Congress party said, when the Gujarat Chief Minister came and was here at your swearing in, that's what they said. And they said, I don't think it needs any elaboration that the Gujarat Chief Minister has orchestrated the words genocide in independent India, and he should not be touched with a barge pole. This comment was made because Narendra Modi visited your swearing in.
And let us not get into a discussion on Mr. Narendra Modi. He is a good friend, that is all.
Have you, when you look back at 1998, 1999, Ms. Jayalalithaa, you said that obviously time moves on and political views change. The reasons for which you had issues with the NDA in 1999, when you look at them in 2011, Could there be a fresh start to your relationship with the BJP?
Any person evolves with time and experience. It's the same with a political leader. If the same situation that arose in 1999 had arisen today, probably I would have reacted very differently and acted very differently. You gain experience as time goes on. So, what was your question?
My question was that when you look back at 1999, the circumstances in which you withdrew your support to the NDA government, in 2011, when you look back on it, you say that things move on. You say you reacted differently.
I would like to stress one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
If you constantly keep looking back, and if you constantly keep harping on what happened in the past, you can't move ahead and you can't do politics. So, if you insist on thinking about what transpired in the past and you dwell on events that occurred in the past, you are stagnating. You're preventing yourself from moving forward. So as far as I am concerned, the past is past. I live in the present and look towards the future.
Ms. Jayalalithaa, I find that very interesting, because today, in today's political environment, if Jayalalithaa is ambivalent, Ms. Jayalalithaa is not ambivalent perhaps, if she's equidistant from both these two parties, then that would throw up a whole whirlwind of opportunities for political parties in Delhi. What about the possibility of a third front, Ms. Jayalalithaa? It did badly in the 2009 elections. Do you think, given the federal structure of our politics and the fact that states need a greater voice at the center, that it is realistic or unrealistic to look at the possibility of a third front perhaps in the future? How do you view it?
Anything can happen in politics, and particularly in India, anything can happen in Indian politics. So let us wait and see what the future throws up.
Would it be unrealistic to think about it?
I said let us wait and see what the future throws up. The future may not be too far away either.
And why do you say that? It's quite far away as of now.
Well, that's what you think. But there could be changes even earlier. As I said, you never know what's going to happen when. Because one can generally sense the feeling of the people. The people of this country want to change. They want a strong government at the center. They want a strong, authoritative government at the center. They want a government which will have a no-nonsense approach towards corruption. And they want a government which will provide security against our unfriendly, hostile neighbors. So, anything can happen in the future.